A cold wind blew through the small town of Darlington as a young girl named Emily sat alone in the town library. The dim yellow light above flickered slightly as she stared at her open book, but her eyes weren't moving the words. On the page blurred together as thoughts swirled in her mind. Social media messages from friends, that funny video she had watched earlier, and the nagging feeling that she wasn't good enough. Emily sighed and closed the book. No matter how hard she tried, she just couldn't concentrate. She had an important exam coming up, but every time she tried to study, her mind would wander her phone. The noise outside, even the smallest sound in the room. It all distracted her. Frustrated, she leaned back and whispered to herself, "Why can't I focus?" That was when she noticed something strange. An old woman sat at the far end of the library, dressed in a simple white robe. She had silver hair tied neatly in a bun, and deep, wise eyes. There was something peaceful about her. She was reading a book, her posture straight, her face calm, completely lost in the words Emily found herself staring. How could someone sit so still for so long? How could she concentrate so deeply, as if sensing her gaze? The old woman slowly lifted her eyes and met Emily's. A kind smile appeared on her face. "You seem troubled, young one," she said softly. Emily hesitated, but then nodded. "I can't focus on my studies. I get distracted too easily." The old woman closed her book and gestured for Emily to come closer. "Would you like to hear a story?" She asked. "A story that might change your life." Emily blinked, curiosity rising in her heart. "Yes," she said. The old woman smiled again and began her tale a long time ago. In a quiet village surrounded by mountains, there lived a girl named Isa. She was intelligent, curious, and full of dreams, but she had one big problem. She could never concentrate. She would sit with her books, determined to study, but her mind would wander. She would think about playing outside, talking to friends, or what she would eat for dinner. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't focus. One day, Isa's grandmother noticed her struggle. Her grandmother was a wise woman, known in the village for her knowledge and calm mind. She had lived through many seasons and had learned the secret to deep concentration. Isa, her grandmother, said, I want you to visit the old monk who lives on the mountain. He will help you." Isa wasn't sure what a monk could teach her about studying, but she trusted her grandmother. The next morning, she packed some food and water and set off toward the mountain. The journey was long and tiring. She had to climb steep paths, cross small rivers, and push through thick forests. After hours of walking, she finally reached the top, where she found a small wooden hut. A calm-looking monk sat outside, meditating. His eyes were closed, his hands resting gently on his lap. Even with the wind blowing and birds ching around him, he remained completely still. Asa hesitated, then cleared her throat. "Excuse me," she said. The monk slowly opened his eyes and looked at her with kindness. "Well, come," he said. "What brings you here?" "My grandmother sent me," Asa explained. "She said you can help me concentrate on my studies. I get distracted very easily." The monk nodded. "I see. Before I teach you, I have a small task for you." He handed her a small bowl filled to the top with water. "Walk around this hut 3 times, without spilling a single drop," he instructed. Asha thought it was a simple task. She carefully took the bowl and began walking, but as she moved, she noticed the birds singing, the rustling of leaves, and the distant sound of a waterfall. She turned her head slightly to look, and the water spilled over the edge. The monk smiled. "Try again," he said, determined. Asha started again. She walked slower this time, focusing only on the bow. She ignored the sounds around her and kept her eyes on the water. After 3 rounds, she returned to the monk. Not a single drop spilled. The monk nodded in approval. "Tell me, child, what did you learn?" Isa thought for a moment when I focused only on the bowl. "I didn't get distracted." The monk smiled. "Exactly, the world around you will always be full of distractions. But if you train your mind to focus on just one thing, everything else will fade away." Asha's eyes widened in realization. "So, if I treat my studies like the bowl of water and give it my full attention, I won't be distracted." The monk nodded. "Yes, but that's just the first step. Let me teach you more." Over the next few days, the monk taught Asha several important lessons. 1. Control your environment. Study in a quiet place where your mind can settle to train your focus. Start with short sessions, then gradually increase your time. 3. Remove distractions. Keep your phone away. The world can wait for one task at a time. Focus on one thing, just like carrying the bowl of water. 5. Be present. If your mind wanders, bring it back gently. Concentration grows with practice. After learning from the monk, Isa returned home and applied everything she had learned slowly but surely. She became better at concentrating. She stopped checking her phone every few minutes. She created a quiet study PC. She trained her mind to focus, and soon she found herself excelling in her studies. The old woman in the library finished her tale and looked at Emily. "Do you understand?" Now she asked. Emily nodded slowly. "I need to treat my studies like the bowl of water. Focus on it fully and ignore everything else." The old woman smiled exactly that night when Emily sat down to study. She turned off her phone, found a quiet spot, and told herself, just like the bowl of water. And for the first time in a long while, she felt truly focused.